Hey guys, welcome to SmackDown Wrestling Reviews. I am your host, Boise, and this is SmackDown Live Review. We have some massive changes on SmackDown Live. We have a change on the WWE title scene. We have two massive returns to SmackDown Live. And we also have the US Open Challenge return. So with all that said and done, let's get straight on with it. Here is SmackDown Review. So we kicked off the show with probably the biggest advertisement for SmackDown Live for the last week, which was the contract signing between Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston. Pretty much you had Daniel Bryan sat in a leather chair. Stephanie McMahon made a remark about that Daniel was sat in this leather chair, you know, the whole vegan save a planet character, but he's still sitting in this type of chair. And then they announced his challenger. They talked about how he was, overnight success in 11 years. Don't know if Shane was trying to be funny or not, but they highlighted his career run, and I thought this was fantastic. A great showing up between Kofi Kingston's biggest achievements. And he comes out massive pop for Kofi. Kofi Mania is still running wild. He is absolutely cheered by the crowd. Gets in, they're about to sign this WWE contract. Kofi cuts a quick little promo stating how long it's taken him, and he's just happy that he's finally getting this opportunity. Daniel Bryan signs the contract. Before Kofi can sign it, evil Mr. McMahon turns up and he goes, "Look, Kofi, you've done a fantastic job here, but you're just not a box office attraction, not like this man who we are being replaced with." And it's none other than Kevin Owens. Yes, Kevin Owens has returned to SmackDown Live nearly a year after being fired from SmackDown. He has returned. He's been off WWE TV since October after his knee injury. And he comes back and he just goes straight to the ring. Doesn't really say out Kofi, Xavier Woods, Big E, they're all kicking off. Kofi doesn't say out, he's just very he's in shock, while Xavier and Big E are just making an absolute scene, and you can understand. I think the crowd were excited to see Kevin Owens back, but to take away that opportunity from Kingston was just a bit of like, oh man, that's a punch in the gut. KO goes straight to the contract, signs it, and that's it for this segment. Great. I think this was a good little opening segment, a good swerve. I didn't expect it. But the only downside to it is very much like the Raw Women's title scene between Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. I think it's too similar to that. So it's kind of like, I don't know how Kevin Owens is going to play it in this Raw. He's definitely now in the Fastlane main event against Daniel Bryan. That will probably be a really good match. KO's playing the babyface in this Raw, which I don't mind. I would love to see a long run of Kevin Owens as a babyface. He does go backstage, talks to Stephanie McMahon and Shane O'Mac and says, "Look, I want to have a match between Rowan and Daniel Bryan. I saw the way they looked at me, and I want to prove to them I have a claim to this title as well. But I want to do this with someone who does have a legitimate claim to the title, Kofi Kingston." And they agree. They do give that as the main event for the show, but yeah, I really enjoyed this segment. It was a swerve, but like I said, it was also very much a copy of the Raw Women's title scene right now. So we'll have to see how this plays up. If this is building up to Kofi going to WrestleMania for his title shot, singles title shot, I hope that is the case. But I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 stars. Very good, interesting start to the show so far. Next up, we had The Bar, and they were going to take on a mystery team. They knew it was Jeff Hardy, I think, but they weren't expecting this. That's right, the Hardy Boyz are back on TV. That's right, Matt Hardy returns after a few months away again from injury, so that's our second return of the night. And I've got to say, Matt Hardy looked absolutely ripped. He needed to go away, he needed to recover from a lot of injuries, and he returned and not broken. He's not broken anymore, it seems. We don't know, obviously, it was just a very quick intro with the Hardy Boyz, but they returned in the Hardy Boyz faction, which was pretty damn cool. And they had a decent match between the Bar. They had decent matches on Raw, so it makes sense that they would continue to still have decent matches here on SmackDown Live. The Hardys did win with the Twist of Fate and a Swanton to pin the Bar, which that's fine. You know, it just, the only thing for me is that, again, the SmackDown tag team division is quite stacked. You've got some very big teams on there, where Raw's tag team division is just absolutely lingering. There's no real teams in there that can really feel like that legitimately could win the titles. On SmackDown, anyone could win the bloody titles because there's so many good teams, just given the right time and effort. But yeah, great to see the Hardy Boyz back together. I think this is like the 10 millionth time they've been reunited, but it's still always awesome to see. And Ricochet and Aleister Black were even watching on, and they even stated how awesome it was to see the Hardy Boyz back together. So I can't really complain. Because of the return, because it was a decent match between the Bar, I am going to give this a 3 out of 5 stars. A very solid start to SmackDown Live this week. Next up, we had the US Open Challenge. That's right, R-Truth, who hasn't been on TV for a couple of weeks, returns with his mixed match partner, Carmella. She is also good to see Carmella back. I'm guessing the Naomi Carmella tag team has ended or something. I don't know. I haven't seen Naomi on TV for a few weeks, but it's good to see R-Truth back. And he says he's going to bring back a tradition with the US title from his idol when he was a wee lad. But something he saw his idol do, John Cena. I'm in the commentating team like, hold on, isn't R-Truth older than John Cena? And they're like, yeah, don't tell him. But I thought it's great. I like the comedy kind of states that R-Truth brings. You know, it's awesome. I am a big fan of the US Open Challenge. I think John Cena and Kurt Angle's all had different ways of doing it, and I think I could see how they're going to do the R-Truth version, because it is very interesting. He says we're going to start the challenge straight after the 7 seconds dance break. They have a 7 seconds dance break. The crowd love that. I'm not a huge fan of it, but the crowd do enjoy it. Andrade comes out. It looks like he's going to be the first challenger for the US Open Challenge. I was like, ooh, a really good perspective. Either way, I would be happy whoever wins this. Rey Mysterio's music hits straight after. He runs down. Him and Andrade start have a bit of a brawl. They get into the ring. R-Truth's like, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't know what to do here. Carmella's like, well, John Cena would just take both guys on, and R-Truth goes, John Cena's a brave man. And he goes, right, I'll just do what John Cena would do, and I'll have a triple threat. And I like this. I really like this. It was a really good little match. R-Truth added a little bit more to their chemistry. Andrade and Rey Mysterio's feud doesn't look like that's going to end anytime soon. The match between both men were really like, when R-Truth wasn't in the ring and Rey Mysterio and Andrade got to show what they could do, that was fun. When Rey and R-Truth were teaming up to take down Andrade, that was entertaining as well. It was really good fun. And then R-Truth gets a quick pin on Rey Mysterio, which is a shock. Rey just smiling, he just can't believe that R-Truth won, even though everyone gives R-Truth all this, oh, he's an idiot, he doesn't take it serious. But when he's in the match like this, he can still be funny, but really perform, and I think that's what he was in this match. And like I stated, I think I know where they're going to go with R-Truth's Open Challenge. John Cena had surprises every time, like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn coming out from NXT. I think R-Truth's Open Challenge will be very much handicap matches. Like, he won the title from Shinsuke, seconds later he took on Rusev. This one, his first Open Challenge, triple threat match. I want to see how far they can go. Maybe we could have a DQ match next, a non-DQ match, maybe a chairs match, something like that. Continue adding this, like, every time it's an Open Challenge, it's also a stipulation, which could cost R-Truth the loss, but see how he can overcome that and still be entertaining and still have that comedic side to him as well. I really enjoyed this match again. I really enjoyed the US Open Challenge. So I'm going to give this yet another 3 out of 5 stars. Great start to SmackDown Live. Next up, we had Charlotte Flair come out. She cut a very hostile promo towards Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch. She stated that she is the queen, she knows her place, and she knows that she is the gold standard of women's wrestling. Well, Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey, they're divas. She didn't state divas, that they don't care about the company, they just care about their reputation, their Facebook, all this lot. Very heel work here by Charlotte Flair. She says, look, I'm going to go to Raw. Ronda's relinquished the belt in her eyes. She's going to Raw. She's going to claim the belt that's rightfully hers. Because when she was on Raw, she just never let the belt go. She lost the belt, but she never just give the belt up. And that's why she is a true champion. I thought this was an okay promo. Again, it's continuing the feud between Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch without Ronda and Becky being there. Interesting to see, obviously Charlotte is the big heel in this storyline going into WrestleMania. It'll be interesting to see how this all comes together in WrestleMania, because I don't know how they're going to get it so that Becky, Charlotte and Ronda all are going into this match at WrestleMania. But it is a roller coaster ride and it is entertaining to see. Charlotte's just great. I like Charlotte when she's a heel or a babyface, but I really do particularly like her when she's in this type of mood, when she can cut some good promos. She did stumble a few times. I can't say I do stumble quite a lot of times in these reviews, but she did stumble with her words a few times in the promo. But the only downside to it was that she never really mentioned her dad being attacked last night from Batista. I think Tom Phillips did mention it, but Charlotte didn't, which was a bit of a surprise. I was like, oh well, you know, let's be honest. I want Charlotte to talk about it as well. Cause, you know, she's in her hometown. She's in Flair country. She should be talking about Ric Flair's attack. Nothing. A bit of a shame there, missed opportunity. But who knows? I'm just going to give this a 2.5 star. Solid promo from Charlotte. Continues the feud, but it really wasn't anything too particularly special. Next up, we had a tag team match where we saw Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Aleister Black and Ricochet. Not going to complain about this match. It was an interesting match altogether. Nakamura versus Aleister Black has always been one of those dream matches for me, with hard-hitting strikes. Rusev, again, I have no complaints. When he's in a Raw, he does play it very well. Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura played a very good heel tag team in this match. The chemistry between them is good. They have very good chemistry as a tag team. Ricochet and Aleister Black are just phenomenal. I do enjoy watching them, and they're very good to tag together. I'm not sure if WWE the main roster are going to just keep pushing them as a tag team. I hope that's not the case, because both guys are brilliant singles competitors and they should be used as singles competitors. The match, before the match started, we had Lana backstage looking at Ricochet and Aleister Black and saying, I can't see anything special about either of you. Yeah, she's obviously never watched NXT, because these guys are the best in the world right now, in my opinion. Aleister Black was absolutely phenomenal. His selling was great. Ricochet's high flying moves, again, he can't do as much as he can in NXT, and it shows he's kind of limited to do what he can do on the main roster, but he still showed his high flying moves. Again, it looked like this was going to be like Nakamura looked like he was about to get the victory. Like Rusev and Ricochet took each other out, which was awesome. Ricochet did a dive over the ring post thanks to Aleister Black pulling down the ring post. That was awesome, taking out Rusev. Nakamura took advantage of a weakened Aleister Black. It looked like he was going to win. I mean, fade to black. Aleister Black wins. It's a good victory yet again. I found this more entertaining than against the Revival match. I think because Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura aren't a established tag team yet. They've only had one. This is their only second match together. So them losing isn't a huge misstep. Well, last night when they took on the Revival, it was a misstep. I think that one where the Revival, who are the tag team champions on Raw, they need protecting. They need to be seen as the best tag team. Rusev and Nakamura can take a loss to NXT stars. They can. That's the thing. They have no real roles right now on SmackDown Live, so them losing isn't a big upset. I'm going to give this match, because I did enjoy it, and like I said, it was a bit of a dream match a little bit for me, seeing Shinsuke versus Aleister Black. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. I know some people would say, oh, it's more like a 2.5 out of 5, but no, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. I did really enjoy this match. Last but not least, it's our main event, and it's Kevin Owens and Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan and Rowan. This was a interesting match. Kevin Owens came across throughout the whole match as a babyface, which you don't often get to see. The crowd were chanting Kofi all night. They were chanting Kofi no matter what, and that was good to see. Kofi came out very, very much like he shook people's hands and stuff, but you could see he was still rattled about being removed from the WWE title match at Fastlane for Kevin Owens, and that was the big thing during the whole match. Could these two work together? Obviously, with Kevin Owens replacing Kofi. Rollins was very dominant, not very much for me. Like Kofi, Kevin Owens and Daniel Bryan can pull off moves, and they're just absolutely fantastic in-ring workers. Rollins completely different. Out of all the guys, he was the most different character in this whole match, mainly because he's a heavy hitter. He's very much, I'm going to dominate people, and I'm going to just use power moves throughout the whole match, and that's what Rollins really good at, and it really gives Rowan and Daniel Bryan that massive advantage over Kofi Kingston and Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens, he's a brawler, but he can pull off some amazing moves as well. So for me, Kevin Owens is kind of like all-rounder. He can do high-flying moves when he wants to. For a big guy, he can do them. You should see what he can do. As well as grappling, brawling, he can do it all. Kofi's a very high flyers, quick speed kind of character. Same with Daniel Bryan. So Rowan was very much a powerhouse throughout this whole match, and he really was dominating. Kevin Owens and Kofi really struggled when Rowan was in the ring. They managed to finally get him out of the ring, finally use their nimbleness to, knock Rowan back a little bit. Kofi getting him into the ring post, knocking Rowan out, doing the safety jump onto Rowan, knocking him out. Kevin Owens did get the victory with a stunner, which was awesome. I've seen Kevin Owens pull the stunner off a few times on WWE, but he's never pinned anyone with it. That was awesome. It was great to see that. He didn't just win, he won with the stunner, which is, let's be honest, that's a sacred move in WWE. So winning with that move is absolutely friggin' awesome. I think that should be Kevin Owens. Personally, for me, as a wrestling fan, I want that to be Kevin Owens' new finisher. I think he could play an awesome babyface Kevin Owens, and his finisher, the babyface Kevin Owens finisher, is the stunner, because he just looks cool doing it. There was a few words exchanged between Kofi Kingston and Kevin Owens after the match. Kevin was telling the referee to lift Kofi's hand. He won that match. Very, very respectful from Kevin Owens throughout the whole match towards Kofi Kingston. So it's interesting to see. I really enjoyed this match. It was very, very different than I was expecting. Kevin Owens was brilliant. Good to see Kevin Owens back in the ring. Kofi was absolutely fantastic. The fans, Kofi Mania, guys, telling you, the seeds for Kofi Mania going to WrestleMania is getting planted. That's my theory. Daniel Bryan was brilliant in this match, and Rowan very much surprised for me, very dominant during the whole match. So I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5. Very, very good main event for SmackDown Live. And there you go, guys, that was SmackDown Live for this week. I absolutely loved it. I think this was a very solid SmackDown Live. I think the matches on SmackDown Live were so much better than on Raw, but I think the Raw big announcements and big events were just better. So for me personally, I think Raw did slightly win it this week, but I think SmackDown just continued their storylines, had a very, very strong show. It was great to see Kevin Owens and Matt Hardy back on SmackDown Live. It's great to see the Hardy Boyz back together. I'm a huge fan of the Hardy Boyz, mainly because my fondest match ever is the Hardys, ENC and the Dudleys in the TLC match. That's my favourite match of all time. So having one of those teams who are in that match still going in WWE is such a big deal for me. But yes, no real complaints. I think the weakest part of the whole show was Charlotte's promo. I think that's a legitimate claim there. I'm a bit concerned with how Vince McMahon Chosen One stuff is going on, but if it gets Kofi to WrestleMania to take on Daniel Bryan for the WWE title, I'm not going to complain. Kevin Owens using Stunner, fantastic. Matt Hardy looking absolutely ripped, brilliant. Still don't get the Lacey Evans thing. She was on again. I didn't really mention it, but yeah, she was on and she does that thing. So what am I going to give this week's episode of SmackDown Live? Well, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 stars. I think it was a very solid show all the way through. But what was your favourite part of this week's episode of SmackDown Live, guys? Leave it in the comments below. And if you do like our videos, don't forget to like, subscribe, and press that bell to keep notified. And if you want to follow us on the old Twitter, it's at SmackTalkYouTube. That's a U and a tube. And if you want to follow me on the old Twitter as well, it's at Boyze88. That's BOYZE88. And I'll see you guys next time on Smack Talk Wrestling Reviews.